Hi everybody, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, let me tell you the story of the lost luggage. Today's video is brought to you by Private Internet Access. Well, one of the things that I'm trying to harp on to people most out there is to protect yourself when you're traveling. Always have travel insurance, right? Always be aware of your situation. Don't do anything stupid. However, people just still do one thing. They'll sign on to their phone and they'll sign on to the internet on the cruise ship or in port, and they're checking their bank accounts. They're checking their credit card information. They're purchasing stuff online, and they're not using a VPN. It drives me nuts because the next thing you know, they've been hacked and their credit card has been hacked, their finances have been ruined, their bank accounts have been empty, and they're just in devastation. Well, one of the best things you can do to protect yourself from this is to use a VPN. A VPN hides your IP address, so these hackers have a hard time pinning where you are. They don't know where you are in the world. You can say you're anywhere. They're not looking directly at your phone or your computer and being able to hack it. That's probably the best thing you can do to keep your accounts safe. Now, why did I choose private internet access for my VPN? Well, for one thing, they have a no-log policy, which means they're not storing my information. So if they ever got hacked, my information's not stolen. That's terrific. Also, I can do not one device, not two devices, not 5 devices, but unlimited devices. I can have my phone, my partner's phone, my computer, my home computer, my work computer, my iPad can all be covered under the same plan for the same price. Now, if you'd like to be protected like I am, why not give private internet access a chance by following my link down below and get up to 83% off your subscription as well as 4 months free. Thanks again to Private Internet Access for sponsoring this video. A lot of people were questioning the flights and how to contact everything, what happens with the bag, etc. So let me start from the beginning. When I'm flying back from my African safari to camp in Zambia, everything was fine. We got to Lusaka, and in Lusaka, I have to take Ethiopian Airlines into their main hub, Addis. And when we get there, you are now taking Egypt Air to Cairo and into finally Rome. Now, when we were getting our bags in Lusaka, they printed out everything for our tickets, even for Egypt Air. So I had all 3 flights, lined up. And I double checked. I said, so do we pick up the bags in Cairo and go through security again? And then this final destination. Pick them up at your final destination. So, okay. But then when we got to Cairo, now there was an 8-hour layover in Addis. And then we flew to Cairo. There was about an hour and a half for our connection. And so I was a little worried there, but when we got to Cairo, they reprinted my tickets for Egypt Air. Even though they were on my Ethiopian Airlines have a ticket there and everything, they reprinted it with a new ticket number and everything. And they asked me, so you have no luggage, right? I said, no, I have luggage. It's, here's my tag right here on the back of this ticket. They said, oh, okay. And they gave me back. Didn't do anything different. Didn't add another ticket. Didn't add anything. Great. Okay, that was a concern. So I used those tickets to get back on the plane, both in Cairo, and then got into Rome. And lo and behold, when I get into Cairo, there's no bag. And so I go over, out of, like I said, 9 people, my bag's the one that's missing. So I go over, I talk to the people there. They can't track the ticket there for some reason, even though they're the luggage handlers. And so I have to fill out this big form, this big report. And then when I'm going to check online, when I get back to my hotel room, if there's any update, they have the condition of the bag wrong. I have a duffel bag. That's all I have. Yet for some reason they said it had wheels, it had a handle, it was part of a stroller. None of which is true. None of which is true. So I had to call them and get through to them one more time and change that around, telling them, no, it's only a duffel bag. Tell them the color is black and gray. You know, it's very easy. Duffel bag. Describe the stuff that's in it. You know, some safari clothes, my shaver, and t-shirts, etc. And so, yeah, that's where I stood. And every time I looked online, there's two airlines, right? So I have Ethiopian Airlines, which I started with, and then I have Egypt Air. When I go on Ethiopian Airlines, it showed me that the bag was in Cairo and loaded on the plane. When I go to Egypt Air, it doesn't recognize the tags, my ticket number, my booking number, my reference number, nothing. Both tickets I tried, the Ethiopian Airline first ticket they gave me and the ticket they gave me in Cairo, none of them worked. Wouldn't recognize a bag anywhere. So lovely, I said to myself, lovely. Well, as luck would have it, I got here to the Sun Princess, again, two and a half days in Rome, no sign, and every time I called into the number they gave me to track it, they kept on saying, we don't know where it is, we don't know where it is, we have no idea. In fact, one guy gave me heck for calling twice in the same day. Once early in the morning, once late in the evening. Because you're not supposed to call on the same day. Well, you're not supposed to lose my bag neither. So, deal with it. But I got here to the Sun Princess. And I was going down to guest services to double check my credit card, because sometimes they take the wrong credit card online. Sometimes my Amex doesn't work and only the other card works when you're online. So I went down, and I also wanted to upgrade myself to the drink package. I bid on an upgrade for my cabin here on the ship. Didn't win. But if I would have won, then the premier package would have all been included, because it would have been in the sanctuary area. But the ship is sold out, so I never got it. So I had to pay for it myself, so I just went down and upgraded it. And while I was there, I ran into a person I've worked with before and met. Good, nice gentleman. He's been promoted on the ship recently. He's in charge of guest services here on board. Bradley. Bradley, if you're looking, thank you, my friend. Always a pleasure to run into him. And I mentioned to him that, yeah, the bag was missing. And he immediately said, oh, here, let's take your information. So I happened to be just coming on the ship, so I still had all my booking references and everything with me. Gave him all the booking numbers, gave him a description of the bag, actually showed him a picture of the bag, had to give him a copy of the passport and everything, because they have to show the passport of the person that it's going to for customs if it comes in. And then woke up the next morning, and I was down in my excursion area waiting to get on my next excursion in Pompeii, when a very nice young lady came up to me and says, yes, we need some more information from you. We need this to get filled out for customs. So I was filling it out, and I said, so is there actually any word on the bag? She said, well, we've contacted the airline now, and through our contacts, and the last we checked, it was in Rome. Now, I was in Naples, so it's not too far from Rome in Naples, especially by flight. So I was hoping that maybe I would get my bag, and at least it didn't say it was still in Cairo. At least it didn't say it was loaded on a plane, and at least somebody said, yes, we know where the bag is. Because every time I called, I got, we don't know where it is. It hasn't, no one scanned it yet. Well, obviously that wasn't true, because as soon as Princess looked into it, bam, there it was. Bam, they knew where it was. Bam, they were trying to get it to us on the ship. And, yeah. Bam! Princess Cruise Lines and Bradley and the team got the bag. And now I've sent out all the clothes for laundry. Kept a couple little items that I knew were still clean, but I had to send it out for laundry because all my stuff is, dirty from the trip. And especially not really trusting that my bag's been gone for 4.5 days. And who else might have been in there touching everything. But yeah, Princess customer service department to the rescue. And, you know, Bradley assured me, he says, you know, we have contacts where other people wouldn't have contacts. And I'm sure all the other cruise lines are the same way. So I really appreciate, you know, we just happened to mention to him that we lost the bag. So what a great, you know, lucky stride that I did and not just try and solve this on my own. So long story short, if you're ever on Princess Cruise Lines and they lose your luggage on the way to the cruise, go into customer service, give them your details, let them know, and they can track it like they did mine and hopefully get you your luggage before not too far into the cruise. I'm certainly glad to see my stuff back, and I'm sure you would too. I can't wait to have clean clothes again. Well, I hope you appreciate this little update. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world, hit that subscribe button. Until next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.